Hello again, Year 1, and welcome back to session 3 of your online learning with me, Mrs. Francis. So on the last session, we did a little bit of reading of our book that we're looking at, which is Oliver Jeffers' How to Catch a Star. And we read the first part of this book together. And then we did some sequencing. So we did some ordering of the different events in the book, and we did some sentence building as well. So today we're going to be doing a little bit more work on that book. And if I just share my screen now, I will show you exactly what it is that we are going to be doing. Just make that a bit bigger so you can see it. Okay, so today's skills that we're going to be working on is we're going to be looking at becoming word detectives. So we're going to be understanding some new vocabulary from the book. We're going to be looking at remembering and retelling some key events from the story, so retelling the story and the different things that have happened so far. And we're going to be looking at extending sentences by adding some ideas together, so making sentences longer by adding in extra ideas. Okay, now to start with, what we need to do is make sure that we've got everything that we need, same as usual. So we need to make sure we've got somewhere comfortable to sit, either a seat or on the floor, nice and comfortable. You need to make sure you've got your watching eyes, your listening ears, and as always, something to write with and something to write on. So a pen, a pencil, or a whiteboard pen, and some paper or a whiteboard. Okay, so if you haven't got those things yet, pause the video and go and get them, and then press play once you're ready to go. If you've got all those things to start with, so that you're all ready, we're going to start off with just warming up our brains again. Okay, so the last couple of days we've been looking at high frequency words. Today we're going to look at some phonics, and we're going to look at the long E sound. I'll put that there because I'm going to need that later. We're going to look at the long E sound and some different ways that we can make the long E sound. So here on your screen you can see two of the ways that we can make the long E sound. So one way is that we can have an E and an A like this, and we can have the word, for example, reach. Can you see there? We've got the word reach, and that happens in the story, doesn't it? The boy tried to reach the star. So you can see there in the word reach, you've got that long E sound in the middle. Or we might have the word like tree, where it's got a long E sound on the end. And can you spot the difference? This time the long E sound is made with two E's next to each other. The boy climbed a tree. Okay, so those are just some examples just to start you off. Now, your first job is going to be to get your piece of paper. I've got my whiteboard here. Get your piece of paper and your pencil or your whiteboard, and I would like you to do exactly what is on the screen at the moment. I would like you to split, I'm going to move over because you can't see my whiteboard here. I'm going to split your page into 3 sections. Oh, 3. There's a long E sound there, isn't there? 3 sections, okay? And I'm going to do at the top my different E sounds. So I've got that one, I've got my E, A, and then in my third box, I've got a cross, okay? So just pause the video while you get yourself ready once you've split your page into those 3 sections, just like that, okay? And then press play when you're ready to go. Okay, now that you've got your table with your boxes, your 3 boxes with your E, your long E sounds and your cross, we're going to have a go at sorting out some words into the right boxes, okay? So we're going to have a sort of which words would go in the E box here with the double E, E for the long E sound. We're going to sort which ones would go in the EA for the E sound and which ones don't belong in any of them. Now, if you look really carefully on this page, there are lots of words here that are all taken from our book that we're looking at. All of these words are in the book, How to Catch a Star, and they're all words that we have read together already, okay? So let's have a look at them and we'll have a go at reading them and sorting them into the right place on the table. So we'll look at the first one at the very top. Can you see this one here? Hopefully you can see my mouse. The very top one says reach, reach. Which box would I put the word reach into? That's right, I'm going to put it under this one. So I'm going to write really carefully, reach. And what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to put on my, you might call them sound buttons, or some schools call them dots and dashes, or some schools call them sausages and beans. So I'm going to put my sound buttons in the right place on each word. So I'm going e, ch. Okay, so I've put the word in the right box and I've done my sound buttons as well. Okay, we'll try one more and then you can have a go by yourself. So the next word, let's do the one in the middle here. The word keep, keep. Which box am I going to put the word keep in? Can you see? I'm going to put it in this one here, aren't I? Because it's a double E, keep, there. And remember, I'm going to do my sound buttons. So k, e, p, keep. Okay, what I want you to do now is I want you to pause the video and see if you can put all of the other words into the right place on your box that you've got, the boxes that you've drawn. Okay, and then you can press play once you've done that. Okay, you ready to go? Let's see what you've done. So hopefully your boxes look a little bit like the ones on my screen. They might not be in the same order, but that's okay. That's not a problem. Okay, now what I haven't got is I haven't got the sound button. So we'll do that quickly now together. Okay, so we've got the word keep. We've also got the word meet, as in I'm going to meet my friends. He goes to meet a seagull, doesn't he? So eat. Next one in that column, we've got the word tree. He tries to climb a tree, doesn't he, to catch the star. So I'm writing the word tree in that box there. Next column, seagull, because he goes to see the seagull for help, doesn't he? Eagle. I'm going to do my dots and dashes or my sound buttons. E-gull. Okay. I've got the word beach because he dreams of walking along the beach, doesn't he? With his friend, the star. Beach. But each. And I've got reach, which we've already done. And dream, because that's what he dreams of doing. Dream. Dream. And then ones that don't match in any of them, we've got the word star. That's not got a long E sound, has it? I've got the word wait. And I've got the word early. Now that's a bit of a mean one that I've put in there because it does have, oh, where is it on my screen? It does have the letters E-A, but it doesn't make a long E sound. It's early. It's not an E sound, is it? Okay, so that one's not going in our E, in our long E box. Okay, right, I'm going to pop that out of the way. And our next page. Okay, so now that we've warmed our brains up, we're going to do a bit of word detective work, okay? And a detective is somebody who finds things out. They look for clues and they find things out. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a read again a certain page in the book, and we're going to look at some of the words that might be a little bit tricky. So I've just got my book here. I'm going to find the right page. Have a look. Where is it? Where's the right page? Here we go. Okay, I've got my page here, can you see? And I'll read it to you now. The boy decided he would try to catch a star. He thought that getting up early in the morning would be best, because then the star would be tired from being up all night in the sky. So the next day he set out at sunrise, but he could not see a star anywhere. He sat down and he waited for one to appear. And do you remember, we know why he can't see any stars in the sky, because it's daytime. So in that page, the 2 pages, there's some words or some phrases which might be a little bit confusing. So we've got the phrase set out. The next day he set out at sunrise. We've got the word sunrise. And we've got the word appear. So have a think. I wonder if you've heard those words before. What do you think they might mean? Shall we have a look? So he set out. The next day he set out at sunrise. So the word set out, the 2 words set out, the phrase just means he left, he got going, he started his journey, he went on his way. So he set out. So for example, you might say, oh, later on I'm going to set out to the park. I'm going to go on my way, I'm going to get going, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go to the park. So it's a kind of another way of saying went, really. Then we've got the word sunrise. So if something rises, it means it goes up. Okay, so you could rise out of your chair now. You could stand up and rise and go up. Now, sunrise just means the sun is rising. So the sun is coming up. So first thing in the morning, sometimes you might see it depending on what time you wake up. The sun rises. So the sun rises very first thing in the morning. And then appear just means it's something that's going to be seen. It comes into sight. So he could not see a star anywhere. He sat down and he waited for one to appear. So he waited till he could see. He waited until he could see a star in the sky. Waited for one to appear. Okay. So those 3 phrases or 3 words there, we're going to have a go now at filling in the gaps and seeing if we can put them in the right place in these sentences. I'm just going to get my whiteboard and rub off my phonics from earlier. Okay, so we've got some sentences with some missing words. Okay, so the next day he and can you see there's a full stop at the end of that sentence? So the next day he something at something. Can you decide which of those 4 words are going to go in those first 2 gaps? Can you see we've got numbers in them? So you might want to, on your page, you could write the whole sentence if you wanted to, or you could just write the numbers. So number 1 and number 2. So the next day he something at something. Let's have a look and see. Could be, let's try. The next day he sunrise at appear. No, that doesn't make sense, does it? The next day he appear at star. No, that doesn't make sense. The next day he set out at, he set out. What word could come next? When did he set out? When did he go on his journey? Sunrise. So the next day he set out at sunrise. That makes sense, doesn't it? I want you to now do the next 2. Okay, so you do the next 2. So pause the video while you put the next 2 words in their gaps. Okay, are you ready to see what's missing in the gaps? Let's have a look. He waited for a star to appear. Let's just check all our sentences now. So the next day he set out at sunrise. He waited for a star to appear. Brilliant, well done. Okay, now we'll have another go. We've got the same words, set out, sunrise, appear, and star. Can you have a go now at putting them in the right places in the gaps? So you can do the same again. You can write with this side, number 1 and number 2, and you can fill in which words you think go here. It's one of these 4 words for each one. I something to the shops to get some food. From my window, I can see that in the morning. You have a go, pause the video, and then have a go at filling in the gaps. Okay, ready? So I set out to the shops to get some food. Do you remember we said set out just meant we went on our way, we started our journey. Off I went to the shops to get some food. That's all it means. I set out to the shops. And number 2, what did we get for number 2? From my window, I can see the sunrise in the morning. We know it can't be star because we don't see the stars in the morning, do we? See them at night. I can see the sunrise in the morning. Well done. Okay, next one. Same words again. I looked out of the window to see if the sun would something. Last night I saw a something in the sky. Can you do the same again? Write your numbers 1 and 2 and then write in which phrases or words you think go in those sentences. Okay, pause the video. Okay, are you ready to have a look and see what the answers are? I looked out of the window to see if the sun would appear, in the sky. Last night I saw a something in the sky. What would that something be, do you think? That's right, a star. Last night I saw a star in the sky. Okay, ready? Brilliant job. So we're just going to have a quick look back and remind ourselves of the different ways that the boy tried to catch the star. Okay, so the boy tried to jump up and grab it, but he could not jump high enough. So very carefully he climbed to the top of the tallest tree he could find, but the star was still way out of reach. He thought he might lasso the star with the lifebelt from his father's boat, but it was much too heavy for him to carry. Let's just pause there. He thought he might lasso the star with the lifebelt from his father's boat. Do you remember when I was reading it before? I did this action for lasso. Thought it might be helpful for you to have a little look at what a lasso actually is. A lasso, and I had to check the spelling of this because it doesn't look like it should be spelt like that, but it is. A lasso is normally used by cowboys. And it's basically a big long piece of rope that has a loop at the end, and they do this in the air and then they throw it to try and catch things, and then they pull it back in. So that's a lasso. So that's what he wanted to try and do with the life belt. And can you see here, I've just put some pictures of what a life belt is. Now, some of you probably live near the sea. I know some of you live near the sea. Some of you might not live near the sea, but you might have been to the sea. And if you've ever been on a boat, it might be like a ferry, or it might be a smaller boat that you've been on, maybe on holiday, or you've seen a ferry or a big boat, you might have seen a life belt, which is used on the side of the boat. You might also have seen them actually by the side of swimming pools. Sometimes swimming pools have them. And they're just a ring like that. Can you see there? They're normally orange and white. I think they've probably got to always be orange and white or red and white. And they're used to rescue people. If people fall into the sea or fall into the water and they're having difficulty, you would throw the life belt in and it floats, and the person in the water grabs onto it, and then you can pull them into safety. So that's what a life belt is. So the little boy in the story has taken the life belt from his father's boat, and he's going to try and lasso it around the star. But he couldn't, could he? Because it was too heavy. They're very, very heavy to carry. So hopefully that helps you understand that page a little bit more. He thought he could fly up in his spaceship and just grab the star, but his spaceship had run out of petrol last Tuesday when he flew to the moon. Perhaps he could get a seagull to help him fly up into the sky to reach his star, but the only seagull he could find didn't want to help at all. Okay, next job. Can you see there are 5 pictures here of the different ways that he has tried to catch the star? So we've got jumping up and down, climbing the tree, lassoing with the life belt, thinking about using his spaceship, and asking the seagull. And underneath, there are some reasons why that idea didn't work. So we've got some here. But it was too heavy. But he couldn't jump high enough. But it had run out of petrol. But he couldn't reach. But it didn't want to help at all. Okay, your job now is to match those reasons why it didn't work with which picture they go with, okay? So you could, if you wanted to, draw. In fact, I'm going to say, let's do this, because I think this is the best way of doing it. I'm going to draw somebody jumping. Okay, can you see somebody jumping? I'm going to draw a tree. I'm going to draw a life belt. I'm going to draw a rocket or a spaceship. And I'm going to draw, I don't know if you can see this very clearly, I'm going to draw a seagull. Okay, so can you see I've drawn really simple little pictures for each of the ways he tried to do it. So we've got him jumping, him climbing a tree, a life belt, a rocket, and the seagull. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do now is to pause the video and draw these 5 little pictures. Okay, remember it doesn't have to be, it's not a work of art, it doesn't have to be beautiful, just simple pictures like I've done there, 5 of them, 1 for each of those events. Okay, so pause the video now while you do that. Okay, now that you've got your 5 pictures, your next job is going to be to match those reasons why it didn't work with these pictures. So, for example, the first one, we've got him jumping, haven't we? Which of those reasons were the reasons that it didn't work? Why didn't it work to jump? But it was too heavy? Is that why he couldn't jump? It had run out of petrol? Is that why he couldn't jump? Because he'd run out of petrol? That doesn't make sense. But he couldn't jump high enough. Jumping didn't work. He tried to jump, and I'm going to write it here next to it. But he couldn't jump high enough. It's not a complete sentence, but it's just the idea. So we've got, he tried to jump, but he couldn't jump high enough. Okay, can you now pause the video and can you match up the rest of the sentences that go with these pictures? Okay, so we've done the first one together. Now I want you to do when he climbed the tree, when he used the life belt, when he tried his rocket or his spaceship, and when he asked the seagull. Okay, so you pause the video and see if you can do it now. Okay. Okay, shall we have a look? So we should have your tree, next to your tree, we should have, which one? But he couldn't reach. Well done. But he couldn't reach. What about the next one, the life belt? Why didn't the life belt work? Which one have you chosen? Good job. But it was too heavy. But it was too heavy. And what about the spaceship or the rocket? That's right, it had run out of petrol, but it had run out of petrol. And the final one with the bird, the seagull. But it didn't want to help. But it didn't want to help at all. But it didn't want to help at all. So we've got, he tried to jump, but he couldn't jump high enough. He tried to climb the tree, but he couldn't reach. He tried to use the life belt, but it was too heavy. He tried to use his spaceship, but it had run out of petrol. And he tried to ask the seagull, but the seagull didn't want to help at all. Okay, next job, just a few more sentences we're going to work on together. You can see we've got a picture with a gap and then the word but, ... So you've got 2 jobs to do. You're going to tell me what he tried to do and why it didn't work. Okay, so it's similar to what we've just been doing, but this time you are doing it without looking at the screen and using the examples that are on the screen. So he tried to, so let's do the first one together. He tried, if you can see this, he tried to, what could I put in the gap? He tried to jump to the star. And then I'm going to finish it off. He tried to jump to the star, but what couldn't he do? He couldn't jump high enough, but he could not jump high enough. So there's my sentence. He tried to jump to the star, but he could not jump high enough. Okay, and we've got some other options here. So you could put, he tried to jump up high, but he couldn't jump high enough. Are you ready for your go now? So this time it's your turn. You can see what he's doing in the picture. And I want you to fill in the gap and finish the sentence. He tried to something, but. Okay, so pause the video while you write your sentence. He tried to something, but. Okay, have you written your sentence? Has your sentence got a capital letter and a full stop at the end? Okay, what was the thing he tried to do? He tried to climb a tree. But how could you finish that? He tried to climb a tree, but he couldn't reach it. He tried to climb a tree, but he couldn't reach it. Yours might be slightly different, but that's okay. Okay, you ready for the next one? He tried to something, but. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some words which might help you. Okay, can you see them there? Okay, I'm going to give you some words to help you there. And I would like you to have a go at pausing the video and try and fill in the gap and finish that sentence for me. Okay, so pause the video now. Okay, have you done your sentence? Have you read it aloud? Have you checked that you've got a capital letter and a full stop? Okay, let's have a look what you might have put. So you could have put, he tried to lasso the star with a life belt. And I gave you those words to help you, didn't I? He tried to lasso the star with a life belt, but it was too heavy. That was the reason that one didn't work, wasn't it? Okay, ready? He wanted to something, but look at that picture. We've got his spaceship or his rocket. He wanted to something, but. So pause the video and fill in the gap and finish that sentence for me. Okay, have you done your sentence? Have you checked your capital letters and full stops? You might have had something like this. He wanted to fly up in his spaceship, but it had run out of petrol. Okay, and your last one. Here we go. We've got this picture here, which is the last thing he tried to do. Ready to pause the video in a minute? He tried to something, but. So what was he trying to do here and why didn't it work? He tried to, but. Okay, pause the video now. Okay, have you written your sentence? He tried to something. What was your something? What did you put in the gap? Maybe you put something like this. He tried to ask a seagull for help. Or maybe you said he tried to ask a bird for help, or he tried to ask for help. But it didn't want to help him. He tried to ask a seagull for help, but it didn't want to help him. Okay, you have done a really, really excellent job today. You've done some brilliant sentence creation. So not just building sentences this time, but you've been making your own sentences as well. So well done. In the next session, we're going to be looking at some more gap filling exercises. We're going to be practicing making some more sentences, but we're going to be coming up with some of our own ideas for how we would try and catch a star. So maybe between now and then, you could be having a little think about different ways that you might choose to try and catch a star. Have you got any other ideas, different ideas to the ones that the boy did? So be having a think about that between now and our next session. Okay, so let me just stop sharing my screen. There we go. And I will see you again next time. Very well done. All right, bye-bye.